See, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh no, she's wearing the same thing. The light is still terrible, and there are still kids crying and playing outside. Does she never learn? And the answer is no. Hello everybody, I'm Roxy and this is Direct Me BS. I'm recording at any time I have to record. I'm sorry, I'm going on vacation, and if you haven't noticed, I've been uploading every week. I don't want to jinx it, but that's my goal, to keep uploading every week. I would also like to remind you to drop by roxyreading.blogspot.com or link down below, which is my reading blog. I upload a lot of different things there, and I try to do it all short and snappy, so hopefully you will enjoy it. All of that is irrelevant, kind of, to today's video, which is Curious Readers, Curious Adventures 2020. So basically, Natalie from A Curious Reader created this challenge, and for this year she broadened the prompts. I loved the prompts of 2019. I did a wrap up for that, and you can check that video down below or in the eye as always. But I'm also excited for this year's prompts. So let's get on with it. This, of course, is subject to change, and I've actually already completed one of the prompts. So I'm very proud of myself. Number 1 is read about a local celebrity or specialty. And this is hard because I live in Chile and I don't have many books about Chilean people. That's sad, but I do have this book that sadly is not translated into English, called Mujeres Chilenas, so Chilean women, and it's a very beautiful illustrated compendium of great Chilean women who are relevant either for feminist movement or science or commerce or politics or art. Then number 2 is read about an experience different from your own, and this could be interpreted however you want it. I want to read Born a Crime by Trevor Noah, which one of my friends read and she said it was amazing. This is about Trevor Noah being born mixed race during the time of the apartheid. It was the ending of the apartheid, but it was still illegal for him to have been born. And I can't really imagine what that's like. Number 3 is celebrate something you love. And for this, I had chosen Bowie's Bookshelf here. I already finished this, and spoiler alert, I absolutely adore it. It's a collection of essays commenting or reflecting on Bowie's 100 most influential books list that he crafted for a Victoria and Albert Museum exhibit on himself. So he got to craft a list of his most influential books in his life for an exhibition of himself. Who gets to do that? It's amazing. Anyways, the essays were really great. If you want to know more, you can check out my entry at roxyreading.blogspot.com. Link down below. Number 4 is read a collection of works published elsewhere. And for this, of course, I'm doing another nature and science writing because duh, I'm doing the 2018 edited by Cy Montgomery. Then read about an activity or craft and then try it out. For this, I have Fire on All Sides by James Rhodes because he's a pianist and he talks a lot about piano music and classical music in his memoir, but this is a memoir. So he wrote a very famous memoir, Instrumental, which I completely adored. I devoured it. Oh my god, the feels. It's very harsh because he was abused repeatedly as a child, and basically music saved him while he was a child, but also he became a drug addict later on, and once again what allowed him to finally get sober was music. And then Fire on All Sides, it's kind of the sequel. It's talking about what happens when he goes on tour, and I am very interested, as I said, but I would like something that was more about piano playing perhaps, or more on composers. I don't know, but the thing is that I want to start learning piano this year. That's why I'm choosing piano. So if it's not this, it will be something else. If you have any advice, maybe leave it down below. But for now, I'll stick to this one. Plus, I already have this book and I really should read it because, as I said, Instrumental broke my heart. Then browse shelves. It could be any shelves, and choose a book that you didn't know or that just sort of grabbed your attention. And for this, I'm going to choose a book that I grabbed impulsively while I was browsing Alma Libre bookstore, which is an English-speaking bookstore in Puerto Morelos, Mexico. And I saw this book and I thought, I just have to read this. I have to have it. And that is A History of the World in 6 Glasses. It is what it says. Basically takes these 6 iconic drinks from, I think, whiskey, tea, coffee, Coca-Cola, and I forget the others, but beer, I think it's the other one, and wine probably. Anyways, and talks about how they came about, their cultural history, their influence in commerce relationships, I assume. I really love when history books take something very concrete and study it and look into its cultural significance, and then also expand to talk about wider historical moments. So this sounds right up my alley. The next prompt is read a book about an era you would like to have lived in. And this is complex as a woman. However, my literary gossip fiend spirit can't help but loving the Lost Generation Paris. I'm sorry, I know it's cliche, it's hipsterish, I can't help it. So I'm choosing either Sylvia Beach and the Lost Generation or the Gertrude Stein and the Charm Circle. Yes, they were, most of them, really bad misogynists and very hateful men, and they were mostly drunkards. But there were some amazing women, 2 of which were Sylvia Beach, who of course was the original owner of Shakespeare & Co. and also really struggled to publish Ulysses. And then Gertrude Stein also was a hugely influential figure to the modernists. Then number 8 is a fiction non-fiction pair. And I was going to do the one that I suggested for Nonfiction November. And I'll leave the link to the Bookstagram prompt down below because I did a picture for that. And that was Favor and Favor and Public Library and Other Stories by Ali Smith. I do think those are great fiction non-fiction pairing, but I had like a really direct fiction non-fiction pairing that I just couldn't pass up, and that is Gentleman Jack, a biography of Anne Lister, with I Know My Own Name, which is a play by Emma Donoghue about Anne Lister. Then number 9 is a book related to your childhood, and honestly, it couldn't be anything else. A History of Magic, the book about the British Museum exhibit that, of course, I couldn't visit because I wasn't there at the time, but I'm so excited to live vicariously through this book. Harry Potter, with all its flaws, with all its unnecessary sequels that I will keep watching till the end of time, was really influential for me as a child. The next prompt is graphic nonfiction, which is a genre that I love. Actually, my favorite graphic novel genre is nonfiction. The one I have lined up for today is Sard. I don't know how to pronounce it. I hope that was not too terrible. I don't know if this is translated into English though, because I have a Spanish version, but it looks so interesting, and I love that they also go into Simone de Beauvoir's life and her connection to Sartre as, I think, her student and also her lover. So I am very, very, very interested and very excited. Then number 11, read a new to you press, and bonus if it's indie. So here's the thing, it's not that new to me. I discovered this 2018, this specific book. It is an indie press, and it's the only book by that press that I own, and I haven't read it, and I've never read anything else by that press, so I think it counts. Anyways, this one is on anxiety. It explores anxiety from different angles, and there is only one essay that I've read here that was about immigration and how even though the author had lived in the UK for a long time, I think it was a she, still got really nervous when they searched her insecurity and that type of anxiety of constantly fearing she would be rejected by the country she lives in. It's so fascinating and I want to read more. Then finally, it's a book that inspires self-reflection in you or a book that reminds you of yourself. For this prompt, I almost wrote down Rosita Boland's Elsewhere, which would have been a reread, because I felt it fulfilled the challenge so perfectly. But I do want to count new to me books, and also I have some other options that I think might work. One is A Secret Sisterhood, which is a book about female friendships between different famous authors. It reminds me of me because I would love to be a writer one day, and also female friendship to me is so important. I also thought of The White Album by Joan Didion, and I have not read this, so I don't know how close it will be to my personal experience, but Joan Didion always inspires self-reflection in me. And one final option is The Lonely City by Olivia Lang, which is, I think, part memoir, part reflection on being on a very crowded city, living by yourself and feeling lonely, which is not necessarily my experience. I don't feel lonely when I'm by myself, but I feel like it might relate to some other experiences. And that is my TBR. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're planning on joining in. If you're not, you could maybe select like one prompt that you would like. If you were to select one prompt, what would it be and what would you read for it? So answer that down below. And that's it. See you next time.